All right, welcome viewers. I have Erin here from Foodcorps, and I just want to say thank you again for checking in with our little video vlog right now, or vlog, I don't know, we're trying to get savvy here. But Erin, I will send it over to you. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Erin Baumann. I'm a Foodcorps AmeriCorps service member in Traverse City here, and my service organization is MSU Extension.
Awesome, thank you so much for being here. So what are you going to share with our audience today?
Today, I wanted to share one of my favorite activities that I do generally with kindergarten and first graders at the two schools that I spend time in, but it's called mindful tasting, and it's something that I think even now it's so much more important to be connecting with our food and thinking about where it comes from and giving ourselves a little extra time to think about our food.
Yes, I completely agree. We have a little extra time right now because a lot of us are at home. So, how are we going to do this today?
So today I'm going to walk us through a very short mindful tasting activity that I do with students, and then I'll give you a couple takeaways, and then you're welcome to try it on your own, or you could pause the video and go grab a snack if you want to of any sort. You can use anything to do mindful tasting.
Sounds good. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started.
All right. So mindful tasting is something that I love to do because it's not taking anything away from us. It's giving us back this sense of food. Instead of talking about mindless eating, we're giving that sense of us respecting our food a little bit more. Simply, it's being present and listening to your gut and using all of your senses when you eat food. So today what I want to walk you through is using the five senses to kind of think about your food. You can do mindful tasting in a lot of ways. But when you're doing this with kids, or if you're doing it for the first time, I think using your five senses is the best way to get started. So I've got an orange here. I also peeled one, so you don't have to sit here and watch me peel an orange for about 5 minutes. But if you have something in front of you, the first thing that I want you to do is just kind of hold it in front of you. And when you're using your five senses, you can do this in many ways, but it's just giving a little bit more time to think about that food item. So I've got my orange, and the first thing that I like to do is kind of look at it. Because we don't spend enough time just thinking and looking about our food and deciding what we're having. And the reason that we're doing this is just to slow down a little bit and give a little bit more respect to our food. So I'm noticing on this orange that I have a couple flat spots at the top because it's been sitting in a bowl for a couple of days. And then I notice that up at the top, there's even a couple lines and it's a little bit bumpier at the top of my orange. So you're looking at it, give it a little bit more time. When you move on, you can then feel your orange or whatever food you have in front of you. And so what I'm doing is I'm noticing that it's a lot bumpier at the top. Maybe if you have something that is like an apple or a carrot, you can notice the little bumps, or maybe there's a little bit of dirt still left on your carrot, and that's okay. I'm giving a little bit more time, and I'm noticing it's really, really smooth at the bottom of my orange. Maybe roll it around a little bit if you can, if it's something you can roll, and feel that it's not quite that perfect circle that you think it is. And then this is kind of the silly part, but you can smell your food. Just put it up to your nose. Give it a smell before you've even eaten it. And I'm noticing that my orange smells a little bit different than when I might have it once I've peeled the orange. I notice that it's a little bit of a light fruity scent. And some things don't smell as much, and that's okay, but you're just giving that little bit of time to smell it and think about it before moving on. And using our five senses, again, we've gone through what we can see, we can feel, we can smell. Now you can listen to it. There's a couple of different ways to listen to your food. You can simply put it up to your ear. Sometimes if it's something that is warm, you might hear some noises in the cup. You might be able to just tap your finger against it and hear if it sounds differently as you go around your food. Or you could kind of crinkle it. I know with apples, sometimes I've been able to hear almost kind of like a styrofoam sound, and that has been really interesting for me to hear. And then you get to move on to tasting. So when you're tasting, you're doing mindful tasting, it's really about slowing down. So I've used those five senses without putting anything in our mouth, but then I can do that again. And so it's almost like you're eating really, really slowly and listening to your body as you do so. So I'm going to take a bite of my orange here that I have peeled, and I'm going to chew it kind of in the front of my mouth first and then over to one side and the other, noticing if I taste anything different, or maybe I can hear a sound as I crunch into it. And I just move really, really slowly. All right, I'm ready to go. And so that's all I do when I do mindful tasting. You can take a deep breath before you get started, get ready to go, take a deep breath. Maybe you feel the orange or whatever you're eating slide down your throat into your stomach. And that's one aspect of mindful tasting, is walking through your five senses. It's giving a little bit more time, getting ready to go. But if you don't have time for those five senses, you can do a couple other things. You can just pause and reflect before you eat any food, because we've got plenty of time now to do that. Another really important aspect is sitting down to eat and not having other distractions. So really spending time sitting at your table and eating, or maybe it's on your couch, but wherever you have time, and not having the TV on, not working on a book, maybe put your phone away, anything like that. And then it's really important to keep practicing and then be kind to yourself. Like if you weren't able to really give your food the respect that you wanted now, try again, do it another time. And then mindful tasting is also listening to your body and not necessarily eating on a schedule that you've set, but eating when you're hungry, when you want to, and when your body is telling you that it's hungry, instead of just because it's lunchtime, you need to eat a full lunch. The final part is thinking about where your food comes from, because that's a really big aspect now, is supporting our local producers and thinking about where that food comes from, how much work was put into it, give it the respect that it deserves. And if you're doing anything like this with kids, there's a book called No Ordinary Apple, A Guide to Eating Mindfully, and it helps kids walk through this whole process, and I really recommend it. I think there's a couple YouTube videos of people reading the book, so if you can't get to the library right now.
That is awesome. Thank you so much, Erin. I only had tea in front of me, but it was still very helpful with tea. I appreciate it. Is there any other tips or things you'd like to share with our community or anything like that before we leave?
I think just the little recommendation that we can take this time for anything. I'm really taking this time right now to spend time doing all those things that I've said I don't have enough time for. So it's a really great opportunity to get back to those projects or those crafts or anything.
I definitely agree. I've been trying to do the same, and yeah, it can be tricky, but it's nice to have a little extra time right now. So, thank you again for your time. It's very appreciated,
You're
and
welcome.
stay well.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.